Today we're on plot 1. Last year we planted clover in this plot right here. You can see it's starting to come back pretty good. Last year we went with Tecumani. We spread 4 pounds per acre over this. Cost us about $56. This year we're going to overseed it with 2 pounds. Only cost us $10 per acre. So we're just going across with 4-wheeler. Going to get a good coverage on all of it. Then later on we'll come in here, spray this, get all the grass and weeds out of it, make it look nice and pretty. We went with the Ladino clover. What we did, we just bought it off the shelf, bagged it ourselves, and that way it was a lot cheaper. Last year we had a lot higher cost and everything. This year we're going for a smaller cost, not only with our seed, but also with our lime and fertilizer, and we'll get to that later on the different plots that we did and what we did to them. But we're going to put clover out on this 1. We're going to put clover out on 4. We're going to put clover out on half of 5. And deer stay in this plot quite a bit. You can see through this road down here, they come across that high line, come across the road in between the trees. And they feed up in here. I went back and checked trail cameras, and man, there's been herds of deer in this plot already. Last night we went out and rode around and down the bottom of the farm, down the pasture, in a quarter of a mile, we've seen probably 60 different deer. So they're already active, and good to see that they made it to the winter time. So we're going to finish seeding this plot, and we're going to move on to a couple other ones. Plot 4. This is almost an acre and 3/4 of a plot. We did the same thing here. We went with Tecumani monster mix. Had clover and chicory in it. Cost us about $65 an acre for this one because it's a little bit more. So we had a little bit to it. This year what we're going to do, we're going to come in, we're going to reseed the clover on the bottom half, and then on this top half we're going to come in, we're going to put warm season grass in for a bedding area for the turkeys. And also this road runs right here that we're standing on, runs right by. We don't really like that. When they excavated it, they pushed out all the trees that were right through here, which wasn't supposed to happen, so it opened all this up. And when you're driving in, you can see this whole field, the deer can see you. It's a bad situation. So what we're going to do is put warm season grass right here. We're going to put corn right here around the edge to give us a block, and also so where we can sneak in, get down this road over here. But down at the very end, there's a road that comes up this ridge, and then there's a road that runs right here down to number 5. But it's going to cut it off. It's going to make it easier to bow hunt with. It's going to look a lot better. It's going to be more deer friendly, and it's going to give us more of a positive for this acre and 3/4 than what we had before last year. It was a good feeding plot. Deer fed in it a lot. It held a lot of acreage and a lot of protein for the deer. But as far as shooting a deer, you know, with a bow, it was just too far out of range. You had to figure out where they were going to be at. I mean, that's part of hunting, but we're going to try to cut it down because we don't like it that big, and do a little bit for the turkeys and give them a little bit more of a bedding area. Then also it's going to give you a better shot plot by cutting it in half. So we're just going to reseed that clover, come in back with the warm season grass. This one's not going to get no lime or fertilizer. We may put some fertilizer on it later on if we get some good rain, but it does not require any lime for this year. We got a couple other plots that do. We got 3 plots that requires lime and fertilizer. We're going to talk about that later on and what we did. Last night we got a buggy, and we took it to 5 and put it out, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Here's what it looks like. As you can see, this is the road that runs down to 5. He's halfway on that 4-wheeler, and it's just a big plot. The road, oh crap, the road runs back. Right there you can see the truck. Then we also got the feeder set up right there. So we got a mineral site, but when you do that, like I said, we need some kind of a blind break for walking in and getting the cutout, and give a little bit more security to the deer so they feel a little bit more secure in here. So we're gonna move on to the next one. We're up on 5. It's a little bit windy up here on the snow. I call this the egg. This is where I hunt at, but it's pretty much just like a half egg. It's shaped like an egg. It's domed like an egg. Everything about it is just one big hill pretty much. But what we done, we got this bottom down here, and then got a scraper right here. We're gonna put clover back down this seeded area right here. A lot of it's already coming back up. Last year we put corn in on this side. This year we're going to put clover, keep the clover on this half, and then just keep it to where we can keep it. Clover's still in this, but we're just going to put soybeans on half of it, clover on the other half. The clover produced really good last year. I put a lot of seed on top of this hill. There's more rocks than dirt, but they say soybeans won't grow up here. We're going to prove them wrong, and hopefully they come up nice and neat. Last night we come in, we took the buggy, we put down 400 pounds of pelletized lime, dab, and fertilizer, and with the buggy, and spread it evenly. We made about 6 passes. This one had a deficiency of about 5.9. Last year it had a 4.9. So hopefully this year we bring it up to a 6.5, and to get the pH right. On the rest of them, what we did, we come in, we got our bags individually for our fertilizer and our DAP, and there's 2 other plots. 2 and 3 is going to get fertilizer, and we're going to put them individually out. What we did, we went down to Henson Supply, got a buggy, plus got our bags. They mix it for us, and that way we can tune each and every one of them to the specific of the pH that it needs. That way we ain't covering, overcovering, or undercovering. That way each one gets to a 6.5. 2 was almost a 6.5. 3 was a 6.4, and this one was a 5.9. So in order to get what we needed, we individually bagged it. Last year we spent about $500 on lime and fertilizer. We took overall average of 4.9 on 5 plots. Is what we did. So this year we come back to fine tune it and just get each one specifically right to get a 6.5 to grow soybeans, wheat, oats, clover, whatever we wanted to do. And next year we won't have to spend near as much money, if any, on fertilizer and lime. This year we only spent $146 on fertilizer and lime, so we cut our budget to a third, and which made a huge difference. All the stuff we did last year made a big difference on this year in money-wise with seed and fertilizer and lime. But I'm going to show you what it looks like, and we'll go around the circle. This is the south end. Straight off that hill right there, there's going to be a new plot that we're putting in down in the high line. It's in a valley. I call it the Area 51. 1 because this is 5 and that's 1, so it's 51. But also I call it 51 because it's Area 51. It's out of sight, out of mind. You can't see it and you don't know it's there. Right here we got a mineral site. We're going to put some mineral in, and I also got a cutting back camera over here. It gets all the good headshots, but this clover still looks pretty good right now. Even in March. There's the road coming in. This is where all the corn stuff was last year. Way down there in that side right there, we're going to put a small pond there. This farm right here, during the summer, it wasn't Tall Tine Ridge, but by deer season it was Tall Tine Ridge. So there's another 80 that runs that way that I haven't put up yet. So I'm gonna get to it, get a few more pictures, and show y'all what it looks like. Yep, half. There's a trail that runs right down here. A lot of deer come out of there, and then I'm gonna cut the trail right there all the way down to 51 down the side of that ridge. Good view this morning up here on top of the ridge. Still on 5. This is the mineral site. Got a cutting back camera right there. Gets most of the headshots. Got this wood laid in here. Deer can't get behind it, so it gives us good headshots. But we took what I use. I've used a bunch of different commercial ones, minerals, different ones. They've all been the same. I mean, as far as if you look at the ingredients, they're pretty much close to being identical. What this is American stock Big 6 mineral. The one's in granular form that you can buy in a bag. And then one's in block form that you can get. I like to get the granular and put it around, and then put a block on top of it. And what it does, that block will wash down and seep into the ground once it starts to rain, and also when the deer starts licking on it. I had one block here last year, and it supplied a lot of deer, and it lasted all year long. We got three mineral sites on this side of this 80 acres with 2 ponds. So there's plenty of water for them, and there's plenty of mineral for them. One, it's going to help your bucks with antlers. 2, it's going to help your mama deer once they give birth to get milk producing. And what we'll probably come in here and do, you can also get a 60-pound protein tub at Tractor Supply or Orscheln's. It's about this big around. It's a hard form, kind of like the mineral, but gives 30% more energy and more protein, which is probably what we're going to end up feeding. But I've used Lucky Buck and a bunch of different ones, and I end up seem to have the same result. Last year, that's what we used on all of them. We've been testing for the last 2 to 3 years on different products, and it seems to work good for us. You can get the block for $5 and you can get the bag for $6, so you don't have a lot of money in it. The deer like it, and it helps them out a lot. So if you're thinking about a mineral, or you don't know what to get, or if you're looking at all the commercial brands, and that's really what we're doing this year. We're getting away from all the commercial brands. Everybody that's making money off us. We're not here to support nobody. We're here to support our family and do the best we can up here and spend the least amount of money and produce the best quality plots that we can for the deer. And that's one thing with the mineral. The mineral don't cost much. If you buy a bucket, I think it's a 3-pound bucket of Lucky Buck, it's going to cost you about $20, $18. And this right here cost me a total of $11, and it's going to last all year. Now I'll come in and I'll add something to it. Plot number 3. This year we're not sure what we're going to do with it. Last year we sowed it in wheat for the summer, and we didn't sow it back in the wintertime. But we're either going to plant milo, sow wheat on it, maybe some oats, some cowpeas. Could be anything. We're not really for sure. Nobody really hunts this plot. I hunted it a couple times last year. Turkeys really like this plot a lot. I'll show you in a minute this tree line with this grass that we planted over here. We're going to come back with more grass on that side, but the turkeys really like it. They like roosting in the trees right there. So what we did, we got potash and DAP, and this one got 5 bags. It got a 275 pounds is what it got. I think it was 100 DAP and 175 potash, and what we did, we got it mixed in individual bags. So we're just going to spread this individually, and then figure out what we really want to put on it. We talked about putting beans on it this year, so we'll figure that out, but we don't really know. On this side over here, we put grass in, and the road runs right there. So originally this was supposed to be a house site, but we don't think that's going to happen. But we're going to put grass over here, maybe some warm season grass. But the turkeys really like it. They like coming through here, feeding, roosting in them trees right over in here. But 3, it's pretty good size. It's an acre. Runs down this tree line, drops off down there in the bottom. A lot of deer come out of this corner right here. A lot of deer. Like I said, we got a lot of pictures of them. About probably 50 yards that way is where Eric killed his buck at, right off in them woods. Right here is the road runs down, goes up to the pond, and then goes out and circles up on the ridge. But it's a nice little plot. But like I said, we don't hunt it. We probably will this year. I'll probably turkey hunt it, but it's more of a test plot. And like I said, it was a house site talked about, but we think it's moved now. So. But the view is great on this one. See if you can see it. You can see for miles and miles. They call it the lookout. Spot 2. We keep all of our equipment here. Anything we're using. It's a little over an acre. There's a pond right up here, and I'll take you over and show you it here in a minute. It got put in last year in January. But last year this plot had turnips and radishes on it. It grew big turnips and radishes on it. This plot only requires 50 pounds of potash, so it was the least amount of any of the rest of them that needed anything done to it. So we're going to spread that with the 4-wheeler What we're gonna do is we're gonna run corn down the edge of this road. Then we're gonna put soybeans on that half, and probably gonna put turnips again on the very bottom, straight down. We already did just a little bit, just to break it up a little bit, just to see, test it out, run the disc, make sure everything was working on it, see if we need to fix anything. We also we built a 3-row planter during the winter time. It's on 15s with meters, corn and beans, and we tested it out yesterday, and it's going to plant good. We're going to plant all our corn, all of our beans with it, and should turn out real nice. Last year we spread stuff. We didn't have a planter, but this year we do. Also, all the grass and wheat that we'll end up sowing, we're going to get a drill from the MDC. You can actually rent one for $10. It's pulled by a 4-wheeler. It's a nice, neat little drill. I'll try to get it on video when we get it. We was hoping to have it today, but that's not going to happen. It was at Farmington, so we had to talk to Jeremy Pulley, and he's going to get it for us. Also, we're going to get some warm seeds of grass for them. We work a lot with the MDC and Jeremy, and he helps us out with a lot of things. He's probably going to come out this week. He's supposed to be down, look at everything, give us some advice on things, and also we've talked about burning some stuff. He has a burn plan drawn up for us, so that's something maybe for the future. We're not too keen on burning anything, but we went to that burn seminar and watched them do that, and as long as you get somebody who knows what they're doing, it seems to work out pretty good. But if you have food plots or a deer farm or just anything in general, if you want to work with your local MDC, I know Tim Caban's at home where I'm at. He's down at Matter, but any of them guys are willing to help you, give you any advice. Also, they can help you out with a few different things. You just have to talk to them and sit down with them, but they're real good people, and that would probably be your best bet if you're trying to get into something. But we're going to seed this. And pond on the southern half. There's a pond on the northern half. We want a pond on the southern half, so Ryan Evans over at Silva, he's got an excavating business, and he come in. Him and his dad did all the excavating on all these plots, but also they built this pond. It's what they call a wild game pond. No fish in it, nothing like that. It's basically just for frogs and deer and wildlife. Just a wildlife pond, but it's pretty good size. It holds quite a bit of water. During the spring it'll fill up quite a bit, but right now it's holding quite a bit of water for now. Last night it just rained, but it doesn't look like it rained that much as we thought it did. But we haven't put any bentonite in it or anything like that. When it first got built, it didn't hold water, but over a few months it started to hold water and fill itself in, and then finally all the leaks and cracks and everything got filled in, and it's holding water pretty good. Deer stay pretty steady around it. I can see deer tracks around it, but during the summertime and everything, there's all kinds of wildlife here. The coyotes do come through, the turkeys come through, deer come through. There's quite a few animals. We're getting back here on one. We're going to put a mineral site out here in a minute. I checked those cameras, and we got a couple coyotes that are coming through pretty regularly, so we're going to have to kill them out for end of May or June before the babies start getting born, and they start taking them out of the herd. But nice pond is a nice addition to anybody that's deer hunting, especially if you're caring about your wildlife, not just killing them, but also protecting them and keeping them healthy. The mineral helps out, and then they need water. They also got food, so they got plenty of food in 80 acres, and they got 2 ponds in 80 acres. So they got plenty of food and water. They don't have to go nowhere. The new 80 acres, about 30 acres of it is cow pasture. There will be cows on it, but the deer stay pretty regular in there. There's a small pond that's probably twice of this size that's within 100 yards of that pasture. But on the other 80 in the woods, there's another pond this size that's in there. So there's 4 ponds in 170 acres, roughly, right there. Also, we got the Black River that's only a quarter of a mile away. So we keep plenty of food, for one. We keep plenty of water, and we keep plenty of mineral. And that's all the deer need. And they got great habitat. I'll show you what 90% of this farm is besides trees, and that's all this thick brush. 90% of this farm is just like that. Them deer can hide anywhere they want to, they can bed anywhere they want to, and they don't have to go nowhere. You can see deep down in that valley, you can see the high line run across right there. A lot of these plots on video are hard to gauge. Some of them are bigger than they look, and some of them are smaller than they look. And what the deal with that is that the hills row, they're not flat. Ain't none of these plots flat. Three's the flattest one, but you can kind of see, you just can't get it all on video in one shot. You need an aerial view, but we got a few trees planted in different spots, but the deer will come right down this edge right here, come right out of the woods where the four-wheeler is, or come straight across. You can see the tractor and the truck right there, and we park our equipment there, but the deer come right out of there. They come right out in this open. EJ killed, plot 1 is right down here. EJ's deer, there's a road down there. After he killed it, it ended up right down here behind the pond. But that deer come right across here, right down that road, straight to 1, and he shot it going down this road, off into the woods, down that ridge. So they all tie together, and all the deer move pretty much in the same pattern, but it helps out. We're going to add a few more this year, 2 that we know of, and then next year we'll start working on the new property. So stay tuned. All right, back on 1. Put the same mineral out on the bottom, block on top. Got a cutting back camera right here on this tree. Catch them coming right through this pinch point. Also a tree stand right there. That's where EJ killed his good buck at, right out of that stand. But them deer, they come off this high line, come right through here. Actually, they come right on this corner of the woods right here and cut right through at that tree, go in that plot. There's a ton of deer that stay in this plot, and already this year there's herds of 7 and 8 already in this plot at a time. But it stays in the summertime, and even in during deer season, it's a great afternoon stand. This plot stays shaded 3/4 of it, so it's nice and cool. You just gotta watch behind you from the deer coming from behind you up this long ridge and across on this highway. There's another mineral site, the third one we're not going to do today, but hopefully we'll get some good headshots and monitor the deer with it. What I did, I come in here and cut this hilltop. Still going to put clover on this half, but you can already see the clover from last year is already coming up. I wanted to come in here and cut this hilltop before this ground gets so hard. Last year I tried to cut it, and it got so hard that the disc wouldn't even cut it. But I want to get a nice good bed, get this lime fertilizer disc in, make a good bed for the soybeans that are going to be planted. If you're on a hilltop, discing is not what you want to do, but what we're going to do, you can see these rocks in here. I'm going to run a rock right through here, get this all leveled off good, get the rocks out of it, so when you put that planter in here, it'll do good. It's got road cleaners on it, so it pushes the rocks out of the way, but looks good, happy with it, and we'll move on. Alright, down here in area 51. That's a new plot for this year. What we're going to do, we're going to come in here and we're going to clean all these down trees out. 2 years ago they come in here and mowed this high line, and then last year they come in and cut trees off of it. So it left with a little bit of a mess, but we're going to come in here and clean all this up. And then come in here where they're going to plant beans or turnips or clover. I'm not for sure yet. Then we're going to disc this in. Right up there is 5. Had a lot of video. Got a climbing stand right up there on top of that hill. Had a lot of video of deer up there. We'll cut a trail from here up to 5. That way it all flows together. Right here there's a lot of deer that come across, come in, and move right up that valley or down in there. But what it looks like is it's 2 steep ridges. the roads on top of it. You can't see it, it's just steep. And then got another steep ridge on this side. They don't look near as steep in this video, but they're real steep. It's about, I think we measured it off at about a half acre, something like that. It's pretty close to what we got, but a lot of them deer come through right here and feed right down and go on. So we're going to clean some of this up and get a new plot planted. Well, I got all the trees cleaned up along that line right there, and went ahead and disked it just a little bit. Still gonna have to do some fine tuning on the cleanup out there. I'm gonna have to rock rake it first. Great dirt. There's just so much stuff on top of it. Got a cutting back camera right here. I'm gonna cut my trail in this area right here up that ridge. I got all the timber stacked in this side and this side, kind of making it a pinch point. This side right here is real thick. They don't really want to mess with it too much, so they kind of come down this draw right here, which is fine with me, or right here. And then when they come through this pinch point right here, I got them, because I'm gonna put a box blind right here on top of this ridge, tucked in these trees, looking at this direction right here. And anything that comes through here, they'll be in trouble. But I think anything we plant down here is going to be really good. Soil's rich and dark, looks good, feels good, holds a lot of moisture off both these ridges. So we'll get a little bit more done. We'll show you the rest of it later on.